Are we going to be able to ride the motorbike home?
I don't know. We might just have to stay here for the rest of the day.
Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. Welcome to, what's the name of this podcast, Kylie?
Reimagine.
Reimagine. Welcome to the Reimagine podcast. My name's Sean.
And my name is Kylie. We are by the banks of the beautiful river again today. We will be unpacking the delicious and wonder-filled topic of energy.
Energy transfer. I've been studying all week about this topic. I have lots to talk about, and I've been studying about us being energy transfer units.
I love that. I love it.
Is that the right topic, or have I got the wrong topic now?
You're bringing the topic, honey.
Now that I've actually put some effort into being prepared for this week's podcast, are you telling me that I've studied the wrong topic?
No, because I think there are so many tangents that you can go on in the space of energy, and energy transfer sounds like a really good one.
So we arrived here on our Reimagine motorcycle, and it's just the most magic time of the year here in New South Wales, Australia, to be riding a motorbike. It's that time of the year where it is what they call winter, but it's not actually that cold, and when it's sunny, you get to put all your motorcycle gear on and go for a ride, and it's just perfect. Everything's comfortable, the air is clear and clean and crisp, and it was just a beautiful ride to come here on our bike. It feels like we're on an adventure, Kylie. It feels like we have the perfect life.
Yeah, it's beautiful. It's amazing.
What is perfect? We were talking about it earlier this morning when we talk about having the perfect existence, the perfect health, the perfect run through life. What is perfect?
Yeah, it's an interesting question. I mean, we watched a really interesting movie last night. It was a movie from the 90s where they were genetically modifying children, futuristic children and only genetically modified children that had really amazing lifespan probability were able to achieve all of these different excellent careers, and everybody else was just kind of deemed to the lower circles of society. And yeah, it does make you think about all of those things. What is perfection? What are we aiming for? Because in the movie, ultimately, people just wanted to be satisfied in their dreams. They wanted to achieve their dreams, and they wanted to find love.
And we were talking to a man earlier this morning when we had a coffee who we know, and he got a brand new car, Kylie, didn't he? And it's huge. It's a monster truck from the US. In Australia,
one of those Chevys.
Yeah, in Australia, we don't necessarily have the huge ones, or we haven't always, but they're starting to appear lately, and they're huge, big trucks.
I understand now why Americans call utes trucks, because we never had those truck utes in Australia for a really long time, and we would go, why do they call utes trucks? But when you stand next to these things, I got off the bike and stood next to the grill of the Chevy. It was as tall as I am.
I know, and when you look at something that's brand new like that and enormous, you'd start to do some calculations in your brain as to what it would cost to be driving that thing. And we're on our motorbike, and we love our motorbike, and our motorbike is a freedom and adventure machine. We love getting on it and going for rides and just seeing where it will take us. And our motorbike cost in total as much as the mirror on that big Chevy truck.
Yeah, it's pretty wild.
So what is perfection? We seem to want the best. We seem to want the biggest and most astronomically sized American Chevy truck to be towing our big caravan so that we can do our trip. But is it okay to do the trips on a little $4,000 motorbike, Kylie?
Yeah, definitely.
That's still perfection, isn't it?
Absolutely. And everybody is different.
Everybody's different.
Love and what their desires are and what their dreams are. Even just talking to the man in the Chevy, he's just so excited because him and his wife, they've just bought a new caravan, and they just want to travel Australia with no limit of time. And for other people, they would just want to buy a little cottage in the hills and do gardening till the end of time. Other people want to go to Europe, and they want to go to America, and they want to travel through Asia, and There's just so many different dreams that people have.
And each version of those are perfect for them.
Exactly.
Once again, we're created uniquely to be uniquely us.
Exactly.
So we better get into the topic today. Sitting on the roof of this old boat shed, looking across at the glassy river with the clouds reflected as a mirror on the river, we'll dive into the topic of energy.
Yeah, well, I just thought I'd start with a couple of quotes today because these quotes, they emphasize the power of our own personal energy and our thoughts and our dreaming in shaping our reality. And I think that's one of the parts that we don't really necessarily understand is that we are like an energy center, and all of the thoughts that we are having are also in a crazy kind of way, creating a reality around us. Say if we're thinking positive thoughts and having positive energy, that attracts more positive thoughts and more positive energy and therefore creates positive outcomes and enhancing our well-being and fostering our creativity. While if we're sitting in negative thoughts and negative energy, that can actually lead to stress and anxiety and bring about around us unfavourable circumstances. So we're really wanting to enhance and look at this power of energy, the power of our thoughts, the power of this energy transfer that you're talking about, and how this shapes our reality and influences our experiences, this place that we are forming energy, and this place where this affects both our inner state of being and our external world. So it's going to be fun.
Well, I was thinking about the fact that God gets to do his life in us, in our bodies, as we cruise around this earth. So as we're riding our motorbike, God is in us riding our motorbike. So he's experiencing what it's like to be experiencing the joy and the wind and everything that we experience on our bike at the same time as he's experiencing all of creation that he has created. He is experiencing himself in all of the people in all of the world at exactly the same time.
It's pretty wild. And it's pretty wild that he would be just experiencing that through our choices. So even whilst we have infinite availability to everything that God is and who he is, we can actually choose what parts of that we want to engage with. We can choose what emotions are going to affect us. We can actually have far more choice in the outcome of our own lives than we probably realize and then we probably engage with. So each one of us that has the power to choose which pathway we're deciding to go on and what energy we're deciding to resonate with, he is experiencing each one of those choices within us all the time, which I think is fascinating. Albert Einstein says everything is energy, and that's all there is to it. Match the frequency of the reality that you want, and you cannot help but get the reality. It can be no other way. This is not philosophy, this is physics.
For every action, there is an equal and opposite reaction. Newton's third law of motion. The statement means that in every interaction, there is a pair of forces acting on the two interacting objects. That's what you were saying, Kylie, in your deep research that you've done for this week's topic.
Yes, it is. And I think all of these things, we're talking about a lot of these things, which is actually just the laws of physics, which are those things that happen in the universe, like what we were talking about, that thing that you resonate with, like the law of attraction. It's this principle of that like attracts like. So it's positive or negative thoughts, positive or negative energy that's bringing positive or negative experiences into our life. The same with the law of vibration, where everything in the universe vibrates at a specific frequency, and these vibrations influence each other. But I think that when we're talking about some of these energy transfers and we're coming into these higher realms of consciousness, like we spoke about last week, which was a really cool deep dive into consciousness and the superconscious, I think this is just another extension of that when we're realizing also that our higher conscious living And these laws of the universe are actually interconnected concepts that move, that guide individuals toward a more harmonious and fulfilling existence. So they're focusing on different aspects of our spiritual and our personal development. So we actually have the ability to be able to engage in this space and also to be able to feel the energy of what we're desiring before it becomes our physical reality. It's like that verse, that those things that are not as though they are, like we're speaking those things that are yet to become like they have already become in our life. And
sometimes in these conversations, Kylie, these spiritual conversations, and we watch and listen to these things all of the time as well, I feel like sometimes there's just a lot of talk. Sometimes it feels like there's just a lot of frequency and vibration and energy, and sometimes I actually feel like it's just talk and that nothing is happening in the energy transferal that we're talking about. Because you hear people talk about things like, I desire to have this American Chevy truck to tow my caravan, and all I have to do is vibrate at the same frequency of that, and it will arrive in my space. And I don't know that I am concerned about the idea of that being a fact, but I feel like sometimes there's just a lot of talk and that these things are not necessarily even happening.
Yeah, and that's easy, and I totally get what you're saying with that. But I think the fruit for me is years and years of speaking those things that are not as though they are, even in our relationships. So many, many years ago, when you just didn't want to engage in a spiritual conversation with me, and we were going through really difficult times.
And then you started to beat me really hard with a stick and transfer energy via that means to pummel me into saying, yes, I'll do a podcast if you just stop beating me.
Well, after I tried the beating and that didn't work, and then, I really just felt like I was hearing like this whisper of my creator, like this whisper of God just saying, just let him go, just let him be. But just speak those things in your personal time that are not like they are. So often we would have ridiculous arguments about something, and I would be
like
really,
what,
really frustrated.
Kylie? We'll have ridiculous arguments about something. Like, could you be any less specific? Could you just say anything less with a whole heap of words?
Yeah, I could. I'm just trying to think of an example.
This is a podcast where we use lots of words to say nothing, and nothing ever happens when we talk a lot of words that say nothing. The vibration that we're operating at is a nothing vibration, and every time you listen to our podcast, nothing happens. Welcome to Nothing.
So say, for
Land.
instance, there would be an international speaker that will be coming to our church to speak. And when I say our church, I mean me and my church community way back when it wasn't your church because you didn't want to come.
Your church where you had like those people at the front door pretending like their life was perfect and smiling and saying, come into the place where everything's perfect, everything's going to be fine. That church, you mean?
Yeah, that church. And I would be saying to you, come on, babe, it'll
Why would
really,
I want to go there? I'd rather
really
be at
amazing.
the pub complaining with everyone else that's got a miserable life about how miserable everything is.
Exactly. And so we would get into an argument about that. And you would say, stop trying to change me. Stop trying to make me into, just leave if you don't like me like I am. And I would just get frustrated because I would have been praying going, oh God, just change his heart, make him want to come to church where all the answers are. So funny. And God's answer was never for me to get you to come to church. In fact, his answer was just for me to just chill and just love you wherever you were at, and because he realized that your journey was going to be far, far better if the least amount of time you spent in church.
So if you're trying to get your partner to a place of agreeing that God is real and God loves you and God wants to be in your life, and you're trying to get your partner saved, can I just give you some advice, some energy advice? Save your energy. Save your energy that you're inflicting upon them with your judgmental views and your judgmental idea of a perfect life for you. and just transfer energy via thoughts and love and that kind of frequency to your partner. And he slash she is far more likely to be attracted to your love energy than the energy that you give off when you're judging them.
I love it. And this is exactly where we come back to in this story, which is speaking those things that are not as though they are. This is like that energy that attracts energy. So it's actually living out of the space that you're dreaming to be in, resonating with that frequency of where you are desiring to be, and then that becoming the reality. So I would walk away from those arguments and often feel frustrated and upset and sad and deflated. But then I would engage in that space of going, I am married to a mighty man of God. Like I am married to a loving husband who is adventurous and wonderful and just so happy. He is overflowing with the joy of the Lord. He is filled with laughter and hope and freedom, and he has an outlook on life that is positive and uplifting. He's a great encourager. And these were the kind of things that I would start to resonate with, that frequency and this positivity about where our relationship was going, where our family was going, where the vibe of our family was. And I would just say this for years and years and years.
And all of those things that you were saying were not the reality at the time.
No, they weren't. And even if there were whispers and little pieces of it, and, you know, because I'm not saying you were like always this horrible, bad person or anything, because you weren't. Like I didn't marry a horrible,
You just married a
awful
project.
person.
Here's a scum of the earth piece of something that you would find on the bottom of your shoe. I'm going to marry this person and I'm going to change him. Wouldn't that be ridiculous? Why would you do that?
Definitely. Well, I don't think that you even mean to sometimes, but I think sometimes our personalities are like that. Sometimes when we can see good things in people, and if we don't really know what a healthy relationship is, or if we don't really understand that our partner doesn't need to be someone who's a project that we can see potential in, but actually can be like a best friend, someone we can have fun with. And I think it's the same with everybody in our sphere. Like we don't need to necessarily be befriending project people all the time that just need our help. But often people need that. They need to feel like they're making a difference, and that's sometimes what happens. But yeah.
Can you believe the view in front of us right now,
I know,
Kylie?
it's incredible.
Across
It's just like
the
glass.
silky, smooth, glassy river
Yeah.
to those buildings on the other side and the trees and the clouds. I just want to take a moment to just soak in all of creation and just enjoy exactly where we are. And just as I'm talking, you just feel the sun just breaking through the cloud a little bit there and a little bit more warmth.
It's beautiful.
It's like the realizing and being grateful for your surroundings helps you to be more grateful for your surroundings. It's like if you
It does.
are a person that's not noticing how fortunate you are in the house that you're in the town that you're in the job that you're in the family that you're in, with the health that you have. It's like if you're not noticing all of those things, that it's not happening.
Yeah. But
And-
that's not always the truth. That's like perspective, isn't it?
And that just by noticing that we're sitting in this marvellous, wonderful creation at the moment, it's like I was here just yesterday in exactly the same place, but it was actually a week ago. It's like it's just a reminder that my life is wonderful all of the time. It's like bookmarks in a page. The whole book is telling me how amazing my life is. I'm so grateful. I'm so grateful that you whipped me into shape, that you beat me with that stick.
And that's funny, yeah, because it wasn't the stick beating. It was actually the energy transfer of that space where we're believing and speaking and becoming those things that are not as though they are. We're standing in the fullness of that vibration, that energy frequency and vibration.
And I was never even grateful, Kylie, for where I was.
No.
every moment of where I was before I had my spiritual enlightenment moment. Even if it was wonderful at the time, I couldn't admit that I was having a great time or that I was in a beautiful location because I was worried that it wouldn't last, or that I was concerned that somebody else was in a better location enjoying a better life than me. But even that has changed to the point where I have a motorbike that's worth less than the mirror of an American Chevy truck. And I'm just so grateful to be able to be on the bike, have the bike, use the bike, and just enjoy everything that I do have. Like, my whole life has changed in the last dozen years to the point where I'm not always just pursuing the next thing, so much so that I'm not enjoying right now.
I love it. Tony Robbins says, whatever you hold in your mind on a consistent basis is exactly what you will experience in your life. There's so much truth in that, even just what you're talking about in the way that you're experiencing your own life. Like, those thoughts that you're holding in your mind consistently are what you're experiencing. So if you're experiencing something that you're not enjoying, then I would challenge you to think about what you're thinking about, because there is a real power in the energy of our thoughts and what that is actually bringing toward us. Because you know how you have those times where you just think, oh, that person was going through such a hard time. You know, they were experiencing a great illness or they were really sick, but they had this positive energy. It was like, even though we knew that they were going through a really difficult time, that there was still a beautiful vibe about them. They still had this energy that was beautiful, and there was still like this essence of love about the person that they were. Yet there can be somebody who is really shrouded in a much more negative energy that's going through a far less difficult circumstances, but is actually thinking about the bad aspects of what that is all the time. And then the whole vibe that you give off in that space is just down, like it's a real downer.
Oh, that was just, well, yet again, Kylie, you said a lot of words, just a lot of words. Can you just like try and trim up your sentences, just like trim about 3/4?
Oprah Winfrey says the energy you create and bring into the world is the energy that will come back to you.
You just ignored my mean statement.
Yes. I think that when we're in this place of bliss, you know, like that we're giving lots of information and lots of things to ponder and thought process. Is that a baby pelican behind the mother? Is it? Or is it just a different bird?
It's a baby pelican, Kylie, or else it's another little bird.
I've never seen a baby pelican.
A baby pelican. Well, I'm assuming there is baby pelicans, that they're not just born the size of that big one with that massive big
And I've never
bill.
ever seen a baby though.
Maybe the regular baby pelicans hide in the bushes until they're big enough to come out.
Maybe.
'Cause
I wonder if they're born with the big beak.
I can't think I've actually seen little ones either before, but you know what? I bet you they actually exist, Kylie, and I bet you lots and lots of people who listen to our podcast where pelicans live will be just like, what are they talking about? Like, because there's baby pelicans.
Oh, look, here's our friends, our cheer squad are back.
The seagulls are back on the bar right near us.
So I was thinking on this energy vibe that we could actually do a bit of an activation. So when our energy, or our thought energy in particular, like this place of energy transfer, this thought energy is fully activated, then this is this place where we experience a sense of calm and peacefulness even when we're under pressure. So we can feel deeply connected to living beings. That's why I love being out in nature. That's part of why I love doing the podcast outside, because it is this beautiful connection that you have with everything that's around. Like, so often we've been over here and we've felt the diamonds on the water making their way toward us, the excitement of creation. The seagulls are so excited to see us arrive, and the pelican just floating past. You can feel like the clouds and everything just is with you. So we're completely in the now, the fullness of this multidimensional reality, this space that is in our now that we're experiencing. And it's like what you were talking about before, when you always had those times where you could never feel like it was enough, that you were always striving to be in this next place where more things were going to be, that wherever we were and whatever we had achieved, and no matter how much money we had and how much success we had, that it was like this. There was always not an awareness of the gratitude for our now. The seagulls agree. So we know that we're a part of this unfolding divinity within all of creation, as we are instinctively, which is like without the need for our conscious reasoning, we're gathering within the oneness of God. And that is this place where we are aware of our interconnectedness. So because we already are there, then these things that are seen to be standing in our way, this like a lack of trust, of feeling fearful or stuck, a lack of purpose or clarity, we may become preoccupied with the physical experience that we're currently in and that is around us. So it's just good to have an awareness right now. So energy plus vibration equals matter. So that's how powerful the energy and the vibration that we resonate with are, because they're actually creating the physical reality that is around us. So our thoughts plus our voice equals our reality. So the energy is our thoughts, the vibration is our voice, voicing our thoughts, and the matter is our reality. So talking is the vibration and speaking is the vibration. So right now we're gathering in this space of sharing energy and information. So on our Reimagine podcast, we're sharing with you our thoughts, which is this energy, and we're sharing that with our voices, which is the vibration. So you can actually be in agreement with those thoughts, this energy, this vibration that we're using to create and reframe it and expand our reality. So together we can be coming into agreement with these things that we're releasing. That this isn't just huff and puff. It's not just a whole lot of words. It's actually beautiful, vibrational energy that's being released, making a way for a greater understanding, making a way for an expanded capacity for each one of us to know that we're stepping into something, or we're already living in something that is far greater than what we currently understand.
I know what you're saying, Kylie. It's like when you're around people that have a negative, they're speaking negatively about the world. So they're speaking about the world's dramas that they see right now, and what they foresee in the future is war and the world ending and things like that, those conversations. And when you're around those conversations, even when you're not even in them, you're not even participating, but when you hear them, it does something to your body. It does something to your mind. It starts to make you feel anxious, which then transfers to a feeling in your body of uptightness and stress and stiff joints and a sore neck and a bad shoulder. Even just being around that conversation and those thought processes make you feel as if everything is going to work out badly, just being around it. So if that is the case, then speaking about a future where you get to step into your actual dreams.
Exactly. Because we're actually bonded together within the sharing of these thoughts and information. So as we're sharing thoughts and information in this space, we're woven into an invisible field of energy that keeps us connected right across the globe. So as you're listening in America, as you're listening in Russia, as you're listening in the UK, as you're listening in India, as you're listening in South Africa, as you're listening in Thailand, as all of these beautiful ears and people are listening, we are bonded together in this field of energy. And right now, I would challenge us all just to come into this space of energy and let go. Just let go of all of those things that we don't want to be in this field. As we're imagining a field that is just filled with all of those things that we hope for, those things that we dream for, those things that we are, the fullness of who we are together in this beautiful place of freedom, in this beautiful place of love, in this beautiful place of peace and shalom. So in this place of letting go, I think a lot of our thought process in this space used to be we're coming into a space of fixing or casting out or cutting cords or energy cleansing. But what we are actually wanting to do here is become who we already are. Have an awareness of who we already are. Have an awareness of our divine energy. Have an awareness of Christ consciousness. In 2 Corinthians 5:21, it says, "For God made the only one who did not know sin to become sin for us, so that we who did not know righteousness might become the righteousness of God through union with him." And that is this beautiful picture of us not knowing who we are, then understanding who we are through the one who came to reveal who we are. It doesn't have anything to do with bad or good or things that we used to think were a whole bunch of stuff keeping us from righteousness, but it's actually just to be identified in the one who came to reveal the fullness of who we are. Because I am, you are. Our consciousness disposes of everything that is not resonating and growing within us, the abundantly flourishing Christ, that place of being aware of who we are, our sonship, walking in the fullness of our identity as sons and daughters of the Creator of all things. So whilst ever we're holding on to and feeling this discomfort of pain, anxiety or fear or worry or stress, we can just come into the revelation of who we are already and just let go. So with this energy conversation, it's sometimes like, okay, well, what is this Christ consciousness? And I feel like it is this invitation. It's this invitation. It's a pilgrimage. It's an immersion into the absolute. It's this place of finding ourselves in the wonder of love. Just taking a moment to just feel that love, just like it is beautifully expressed in what I'm about to speak. So just take a deep breath and just sit in the fullness of what I'm just about to release over you. So we're being asked to enter into the hidden mystery of the Godhead, to share Jesus' own knowledge of God, this love of God, to share in and with and through him the knowledge of the Father, the fullness of the Godhead, this place of communion, this space of love, that we're being drawn into the consciousness, the awareness that we are in this beautiful melting pot of energy, of vibration, of frequency, of love. This Christ consciousness, this state of awareness of our true nature, of our highest self and our birthright as the children of God. It is the highest state of intellectual development, of emotional balance, of spiritual maturity. It is sometimes termed the Christed state. And it is this state, this consciousness, this fullness, this reality that Jesus achieved in his human life. And it wasn't so much that he came, that he died to set us free from bad things or sins that we could perpetrate, but actually to set us free from a lack or a disconnect from our identity of who we actually are, the energy that we were created to vibrate with, to transfer to those around us, to actually change our world with this frequency, this energy and vibration that we resonate with, from being lights, from being created in the image of the Creator himself, and to be able to resonate with that beautiful energy, this powerful energy, this space of all those things that are not as though they are. We are here to bring transformation by resonating with the fullness of who we already are.
All is well, and all shall be well.
It's so beautiful. Ralph Waldo Emerson says the only person that you are destined to become is the person that you decide to be. So we do have within us an energy center that is connected to this place of thoughts, this place of energy transfer that Sean was talking about earlier. It's found in our crown energy center, this energy center that's located in the top of our head. It's this place that's associated with our higher consciousness, with spirituality and enlightenment. It's a gateway to the divine. It's found in the physicality, or the physical part of our pineal gland. And it has an importance in the place of creating our reality. When it's balanced and open, it allows us to transcend into a higher state of consciousness, which enables us to see a bigger picture and align with our true purpose. It's this place of expanded awareness that leads us into a deeper understanding of our interconnectedness with all things. It's that place we were talking about before, that oneness that you feel when you're coming into this space where you transcend the difficulties of our everyday lives, those things that we can get bogged down in, and you come into this place of fostering this inner peace, this sense of oneness. And it's beautiful. It's this beautiful place. It just makes me feel whacked when I think of it. It's this place of understanding that we are far more than we understand ourselves to be. And I think that we can have a disconnection from our spirituality and from ourselves when we begin to feel a lack of purpose, like a feeling of disconnectedness, like when we become skeptical, or we have a cynicism, we are dismissive toward spirituality and religion or higher consciousness, when we develop an overemphasis on material possessions, when we are looking to external achievements to find our sense of purpose, when we feel isolated or disconnected from others, from creation, from the universe, from all of the things that are around us, when we feel a numbness. And that can be this place of just a disconnection from our spirituality, from feeling like we want to have a more expanded view of everything from that place of gratitude. And these things can actually, this lack of purpose and cynicism and materialism and like that feeling of isolation and disconnectedness, these things can just be a hindrance and stop us from experiencing these higher places of consciousness. So often, we hear people say, I don't feel like I can see in the spirit. I don't feel like I can feel God. But often that's just because we can be bogged down in the things in this realm, that we are placing our importance in that space. We're not just letting ourselves go on the adventure of spirituality. We're not just letting ourselves come into those places where we're setting a fire underneath our imagination. We're allowing ourselves to go into that place where we can come alive. If you're feeling like you want to dive deeper into that place where you're wanting to become more spiritually aware, where you're wanting to find deeper levels of inner peace, you can come into that place just through meditation, like just that place of mindfulness, connecting with nature, giving yourself space to breathe, and just allowing in that place of breath to just let your imagination begin to frame up an adventure with God. Let yourself frame up a space where you can walk with Him in a beautiful garden, where you can begin to understand a deeper part of yourself, where you can experience those deeper places of connectedness, where you can begin to vibrate with that energy that is coming from deep within you.
The energy transferal and what you've been saying and the way that you've been saying it has just brought about in me a desire to just sit and rest in the sun looking at the river. I feel like I'm calmed down. I feel like everything is fine. Everything is perfect. Everything's going to be fine. And I'm outside at the river. I'm not in a building with my legs crossed with incense burning, doing a meditation in that way. There's just so many options available to us when it comes to changing and renewing the patterns of thoughts that you're having when you are open to the reality of being in an existence where everything is indeed okay, where you can believe that everything is fine right now and that it is going to be fine. It doesn't require you to join in with a heap of other people in an environment that's necessarily made for meditation or created just for that purpose, but you can do this on your own, in your own space, at home, as you're driving, as you're riding your motorbike, as you're outside just engaging with nature, as you're looking across the ocean at the whales going past, like we did just a couple of weeks ago. The reality of and your ability to be able to create your own sense of well-being is inside of you. It's possible for everybody. It's not just for some. It's not just for those people that are so learned or those people that have achieved a level of spirituality that's beyond yours. It's for you. It's for everyone. Everyone can feel at peace. Everyone can feel like they're sitting on the Mount of Shalom at any time just by coming into the awareness that it's possible.
Yeah, I love it. Yeah, so just take some time this week if you're wanting to dive a little deeper into energy. We do have some previous podcasts that you might want to have a listen to. Do have one on energy, frequency and vibration that we did last year, which is really quite expansive and awesome. There are multiple energy centers within our body. Today we've just spoken about that crown energy center, that space that connects us and this gateway into spirituality and enlightenment, this place of dynamic thought and energy that is framing up our reality. It is this place within us that has an inward flow of wisdom and that brings those cosmic places of consciousness alive. And I think that often energy has not been something that has necessarily been spoken about in church or in from a God perspective because it has been a word or a term or something that has been more given to New Age and places of more experimental or Eastern philosophy and religion. But this is a part of us, a way that our Creator has created us to be able to have the creative power that is within Him, that space that framed up our world, that spoke everything into reality, those things that became reality on the very energy and vibration of words that were released from His mouth into the fullness of being. And I think that that's the power of being, just like what Sean was talking about before, how we can sit in that place of meditation wherever we are. It's actually a state of being. It's a part of who we are that we can be wherever we are. We don't need to pull ourselves aside into a place where nobody is. We can actually resonate with that energy of being wherever we are. We can be surrounded in that shalom, in that peaceful place, and be able to just go about our work. And that's when we really start to be powerful in our lives, is when we can be that person all the time, not just in our set asideness, but actually in our everydayness, where we have that constant awareness that we're always in. We're always in the fullness, like you were saying before, babe, like all is well and all shall be well. It is this place of constant inness, in the Christ consciousness, in the energy frequency and vibration of co-creating a fabulous future together in Him. In.
I feel like what has in the past allowed us to believe that it's not possible to live in a place of peace in all circumstances is this idea that we get things wrong, and it brings about separation. It brings about thought processes of, oh my goodness, now I've done something wrong. I need to do a lot of rights to get back into this place of peace and shalom and calmness where everything just feels right. But it's just merely a remembering, a switch that can be flicked at any time. Right now you can flick the switch to the awareness that right now everything is fine and everything is going to be, and that there is nothing that you can do that can separate you from that awareness. It's just an awareness.
I love it. And we can work with that. Like, you can ask yourself, can I sense my oneness? Do I have an awareness of my oneness, which is the feeling of being connected to everything in the universe? Or am I feeling anxious and flat and depressed? Or am I questioning my spiritual purpose or my meaning of life? Or can I feel my oneness? And I think sometimes when we just allow ourselves to come into that place where we have that sense of feeling connected to everything, that it just becomes beautiful. Because often in that field, and when I sometimes think about being in the field, like in that energy field, I look at it as a beautiful field of flowers, or a field of the gorgeous pastures that are spoken of in Psalm 23, that place of restfulness, that place of no worries, that place of the field that we're invited into. It's this beautiful field where we lay down in those pastures and we experience the feeling of peace, the feeling of oneness, the feeling of being connected. And even though we can be in the field alone, that the experience we feel in the field is always together. So if you're wanting to experience a little bit more, dive into some of our previous episodes. You can find some of our creative projects on wildfiretribe.life. And I'm just buzzing right now. I actually feel like I'm flying.
I just feel like we've talked ourselves into a state of I don't know, like I'm not asleep, I'm not tired, but it's that state of drunkenness. And I don't know that I've even got the energy for joy, although now I say that. Even as you speak about having energy for joy, you can feel the joy rising.
Yeah.
Those things that you speak of become your reality.
Yeah.
It's difficult to do a podcast, Kylie, when you are supposed to be talking on a podcast, when you've put us into a state of, I don't even know what the word is. Shalom
Love
doesn't
it.
even seem to be big enough. Are we going to be able to ride the motorbike home?
I don't know. We might just have to stay here for the rest of the day. And this is part of the possibilities that are held within our thoughts, this place of coming into the fullness of our thought energy, being in the oneness of his thought energy, this place of inseparable and completely in sync oneness. I love it. What can we see? It's beautiful. What we see in this place is no more blindness. We see, whoa, IQs dramatically raised. We see brains renewed. We see people regaining ability that they didn't have before. We see severe anxiety melted. We see deep depression lifted. We see permanent disabilities reversed. We see relationships restored. We see fullness and oneness. We see love. We see hearts being impacted. We see the encasing and the protection that we've placed around ourselves to stop ourselves from being hurt. We see that melting away, and we see us coming into the fullness of who we've always been. Enjoy the bliss, beautiful friends. It's been a pleasure to spend this time with you today as we sit on the banks of our glorious and bliss-filled river, wherever you are in the world. May it be an expanded place of energy, frequency, and vibration, that this energy transferal that has taken place over the last hour would bring an expandedness to your day, to your night, to your life, and a capacity for the fullness of who you've always been to arise.
So thank you for joining us today on the Reimagine podcast, and we look forward to being with you again next time.
All right, everyone. Bye.